That is the opening bell on Wall Street, the sound of capitalism ringing free. Artificial intelligence startup AGI gets the honor today. Founder, executive chairman, and CEO Marciano Testa is celebrating the new initial public offering. Now, taking a live look at stocks, markets are up. The Dow is up more than 250 points. So let's bring in CBS News business contributor Javier David. He is the business editor at the Dallas Morning News. So, Javier, thank you so much for joining us. What is the first jobs report of the year revealing, and why are we getting it today?
Yeah, well, that was unexpected, as they say. So first of all, we're getting it a little bit late because we had a partial government shutdown that delayed some non-essential functions. So finally, we have this data, and it shows that, we've had this sort of disproportionate, almost pervasive amount of doom and gloom ahead of this data, but we got a drop in the unemployment rate. And a headline figure that was well north of 100,000. So that qualifies as a pleasant surprise. Much of these gains were kind of concentrated in the usual suspects of healthcare, social assistance. Those have been drivers of growth in the recent months. A lot of home healthcare aides and residential workers. And then we saw some losses in the transportation and warehousing sector. Those have been hit by tariffs, financial services, and government. But there was some good strength in areas like construction and manufacturing. And keep in mind, the latter is a really big part of the AI story with the build out of a lot of these data centers, many of them here in Dallas and in the state of Texas. And we've been covering that extensively for the Dallas Morning News. But we saw some downward revisions in the December data, but not nearly as bad as some analysts have forecasted. So the U.S. economy is proving way more resilient than even some of the bulls give it credit for being.
So, Javier, what kind of ripple effect could this have on interest rates going forward?
Yeah, look, don't be fooled. Layoffs are ticking up, and AI is sparking all this anxiety, but job creation is still happening, even at the margins. And that is going to make it slightly more difficult for the Fed to make a case for lower rates because just this week we had two Fed policymakers sort of signaling that they're prepared to keep policy on hold because we still have an inflation problem. And that's been the Fed's biggest concern. The central bank is very concerned about it, and they're hard pressed to make the case for lower rates when price pressures just won't cooperate.
Javier, we're hearing that there's some earnings from a major food company, Kraft Heinz, my son's favorite. Boy, does he love their ketchup. Please tell us more.
Yeah, look, this was another sort of big surprise of the day. They basically decided they didn't want to split the company after all, after saying several months ago that they were going to break it up, and that they're committing well over $500 million to kind of help revive the business. And this is an interesting wrinkle. You have a brand new CEO, just started last month, and he temporarily halted the breakup. He did it because he felt consumers' sentiment had gotten worse. So we often complain that big companies don't listen to their customers, but in this case, they actually did the thing that they say that they don't. They were intending to separate products like these condiments, as you just mentioned, from the slower growth category like Ostermeyer deli meats and Lunchables. If you remember that from your childhood.
Sure do.
But
I never got to get Lunchables.
Oh my God, Adriana, we've just proven that we are even more aligned. I never got to. I was so jealous.
Were you the lucky kid that got Lunchables?
I love Lunchables.
No, mine was like whatever we ate the night before.
Mine was like rice and beans.
Exactly.
And like
rice,
stewed
beans,
chicken.
meatballs. Sometimes she would put the meatballs in white bread, and be like, it was so embarrassing.
Okay, Javier, we're out of time. Sorry we just took that over with our
But no, it's good to know what's going on.
Yes, but it all is connected. Thank you so much for that latest economic news and a way to bring it home. All right, let's